So the situation with Sweet Baby Inc. has only intensified now that the big dogs are coming out in defense of Sweet Baby Inc. despite the fact that Cabrutus Rambo was harassed by an employee of Sweet Baby Inc. and they tried to get him canceled. What I'm starting to think is that that is exactly what these big companies wanted all along, as they are now taking to the news mainstream to push their messages to all gamers across the industry, letting them know exactly how they feel. And how do they feel? They want you gone. And I'm going to show you guys several examples today to prove that that's exactly what they want. I will also show you examples of why it looks like gamers just aren't going to go anywhere despite these other people's cries and screams that we all need to disappear. We white male gamers, we gamers who just want good storylines and attractive looking characters. Oh my goodness me. But I want to start with this article from Bounding Into Comics because they condensed all of the info. Really helpful. BBC gaming presenter Jules Hardy calls for current Sweet Baby Inc. discourse to end with a final purge of ideological opponents from the medium. So of course the BBC says this. They don't like that Sweet Baby Inc. is being called out. They don't like that the majority of gamers disagree with the direction that the gaming industry is going in at the push of these huge studios who are now attacking gamers pretty much every day. You've got game developers, game studios, game publishers. All of these people are just coming out of the woodwork with the most nonsensical insults, calling people racist, bigots, and what have you. And it continues with this. In the view of BBC gaming presenter Jules Hardy, the best way for the current discourse surrounding Sweet Baby Inc. to resolve itself would be with a final purge. What an extreme term to use. Of those players who are critical of the general presence of diversity, equity, and inclusion-focused consultation companies within the video game industry. So she's mad because people are calling out Sweet Baby Inc. because there's a Steam curator list with Sweet Baby Inc.'s name on it, and these people aren't happy because gamers are deciding that they're not going to be buying anything Sweet Baby Inc. related. Hardy, perhaps best known to viewers of the government-funded British programming network for her having served as the host of 2021's Top Gear gaming show and 2017's The Gaming Show, shared her opinion on the aforementioned debate on March 22nd in response to a tweet from the narrative consultation company Black Girl Gamers. I'm going to show you guys those tweets in just a second. I just want to point out that, of course, the government-funded British programming network is coming out in defense of Sweet Baby Inc. and they're against the gamers. What a big surprise that is. Check these tweets out. They are actually kind of insane. Black Girl Gamers, you see, they responded to somebody that I guess they deleted their post now, but they said, "We really got you pressed by just existing, LOL. We've never worked with Sweet Baby Inc. You all saw black in consulting and decided that we all work together. Sounds like racism. We're not stopping, so have fun." To which somebody responded saying, "You started that group," and they said, "We're literally at GDC. No time for that, LOL." Black Girl Gamers does not want to acknowledge what happened to Cabrutus. They also don't want to acknowledge that they destroyed a video game, Forspoken. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was a financial and critical flop, and its abysmal writing, storytelling, and gameplay caused an entire studio to shut down under the rule of Square Enix, most likely partially due to Black Girl Gamers' involvement. But we'll just gloss over that information so that we can see what Jules Hardy said in response to Black Girl Gamers. And this is what the BBC presenter said. "Can we agree that for round 2 of this," I assume she's referring to Gamergate 2, "it can be the final purge of these kinds of gamers? It's 2024. I've been arguing about this for decades." Wow, she's been arguing about this for decades? What, like since I was a kid? That's insane. Who knew that that was such a big problem, white male gamers back in the day? Because that's the problem. That's what all these people are complaining about. She says, "Can we have a last full detox of these dudes so we can get back to the positive gaming community we have been creating?" So they admit that they've been creating an anti-male gaming environment. We'll just pretend that that's not a big deal so we can see Melanie Mack's response. Also, shout out Melanie Mack. It was cool to see that she followed me, especially after the stuff that she's been going through with Kotaku. Absolute insanity. She says, "AKA, you want to purge real gamers in favor of activists who can't hang in a multiplayer lobby without having a meltdown." I agree. Or who can't navigate a single player game without yellow paint, shiny ledges, and the character telling them what to do. And Jules says, "Nah, I want to purge the hate and vitriol from gamers who refuse to allow gaming to evolve and adapt as we humans are doing. If evolving video games means you're making the worst video games imaginable so that you can push a political message, then I don't think that most people agree with that direction." She says, "I have no problem with opposing viewpoints, but hate, violence, and aggressive behavior isn't okay in any realm you live within." Well, then why didn't you speak out when Cabrutus Rambo was getting canceled? You didn't say anything then. And it's not like you're being a nice person. You're saying that these people should be purged. What is that supposed to even mean? Funny enough, when you go over to Grum's page, he points out a couple of the tweets that she had responded to. This one right here in particular, when this Wizard of the Invisible Eye said, when nerd hobbies stop being trendy, you'll be the first to leave. And of course, Jules, pretending that she's the Jennifer Lawrence of gaming, says, I've been here longer than you, so what a surprise that she has that flag in her name, which also doesn't come as a surprise. She apparently came out a couple of years ago. So I've been doing some thinking these past few months and taking some time to reflect on things, and I have some personal news I am happy to share with you all. I am non-binary, waves. Also, no idea on pronouns yet. She, her, they, them is all fine. I have a lot of things to untangle still. So, ladies and gentlemen, the people that want to be rid of us. Of course, someone responded to that one saying, psst, we were here first, you tourists. And she says, I highly doubt that. By the way, the BBC is not the only villain in this story. We've got one more for you. This one's probably going to shock you, but you know what? I have a feeling that you're not going to be as surprised as some people would suggest. This one says, Microsoft cautions developers to avoid curvy female characters. Hey, you gamers, you game developers, you stop making attractive women. You must make all women ugly, 100%. Microsoft urges developers not to create female characters with exaggerated body proportions on their official site to support game devs. Why not? What is wrong with a woman being attractive in a video game? The site, titled Product Inclusion Action, help customers feel seen, includes a bullet list of considerations they urge developers to make when working on their product. Aren't video games make-believe? Aren't you supposed to make certain things disproportionate because it's a video game, a fantasy world? All this time, we've had successful video game companies making successful video games that had attractive women in them. Now, all of a sudden, you start pulling the pretty women from the games and inserting these weird, ugly women that nobody cares about in these stories that nobody cares about. Now, you're having financial flop after financial flop after financial flop. But let's just ignore those facts and continue to urge game developers to go the wrong direction. And for what? For a message that nobody even cares about or wants. Are you reinforcing any negative gender stereotypes? This is on the website, I believe. One Twitter user pointed out the language expressly condemning certain female characters as reinforcing negative gender stereotypes. Are you reinforcing any negative gender stereotypes? So are beautiful women negative gender stereotypes now? Are you unnecessarily introducing gender and gender barriers into your code or design? Are you creating playable female characters that are equal in skill and ability to their male peers? Are your female characters equipped with clothing and armor that fit their tasks? Do they have exaggerated body proportions when the story allows? Do you show male characters who display a full range of emotions, including joy, sadness, and vulnerability? Well, then if that's true, then that's a problem. Like, what is this even trying to suggest? Recently, Western game developers have been making a point to rally against objectification in games and are citing unrealistic beauty standards set by fictional characters. Where have these people been the last 30 years? Video games are universally known for their beautiful, attractive characters. What in the world are these people talking about? This person said, want to know a fun fact before jumping into New Year 2024? In Stellar Blade, our protagonist Eve body figure was actually based on a 3D scan of the Korean model Shin. Currently has a release window schedule, blah, blah, blah. So people were actually slamming this character because she was beautiful. And then they're like, she's scanned from an actual model. I don't know if you've seen this model, but she looks exactly like this character right here. But they were still slamming the character. And that's because their view of beauty is unrealistic. What they want is frumpy, short, ugly women for no reason at all other than to make people upset. And then the BBC are saying that they want us all to disappear because us being here is such a huge problem for them. They can't evolve and push their political messages unchallenged because we are talking on social media about it. Gaming presenters like Jules Hardy pretending that they are the arbiters of gaming and that they're removing some kind of tumor that's been here way too long. I'm so sick of hearing of all of this anti-white male rhetoric coming from white people especially. It's ridiculous how people can even think this way. And it's even more absurd that these companies see that there's this huge financial downfall of gaming going on right now because of the games that have parroted these exact ideas. They're just ignoring it and they're blaming gamers, the customer. I mean, who blames the customer? But I suppose if you're attending the GDC or working at the BBC or perhaps even Microsoft, you're one of those people who think that Sweet Baby Inc. is going to be the future of gaming. Well, I tell you right now, Sweet Baby Inc. is not going to be the future of gaming. Stop trying to make Sweet Baby happen. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't had the chance to like it and share it with your friends, that would be awesome. And hey, if you're feeling ultra spicy, consider subscribing to my channel so that you're always up to date on what kind of thing I've got going on. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Later. Meow, meow.